Hello, my name is Samantha, and tonight my mom and I are watching Season 4, Episode 3 of Roswell, New Mexico. We are both still recovering from COVID, which is why this video is out a little bit late. I was able to edit out all of the coughing from Episode 2's video, so I have, good luck to me for this one. But it is a lot better than it was, so I'm not too worried about it. As usual, if you are familiar with our videos, we start each one with a discussion portion. We go over questions, talk about theories, but if you want to skip right ahead to the reaction, it starts at this timestamp here. Let's get into the discussion. I've got some interesting points to talk about first.
All right.
So one of the things that we had talked a little bit about after watching episode 2 was, I think actually you noticed it before I did, was on how let's just call him Clyde, the alien guy, the Bonnie and Clyde, let's just call him Clyde.
Okay.
On how he seemed aware of that Max was a clone, that Jones had a clone. At least he knows that Max exists. But he says, like you had pointed out, that like you are just like a dirty clone or something like that. Which means either he was close enough to Jones on the home planet that he knew the real truth that Jones was just replacing himself with clones. Or it's possible that in Jones's message with the Lockhart machine, he said, there's this guy called Max, he looks just like me, he's a clone, but like that Max was, as if Max was the only clone. So maybe that's what the guy believes. We're not sure. But, so like that would explain if he thinks it's just Max, or that the reason it's this triad was because they were so close to Jones that they knew the truth, and they also know not just about the regular business with the clones, but that Max existed as someone that like Nora and Louise and Theo created,
right.
Like to use against Jones, sort of, and that there's something different about the Max clone, which seems to be like, if he knew that from before, he was very involved. So I guess I just want clarification on how he knew that, because that would be an interesting question on why this triad has shown up. And also, again, like we talked about, I want to know whether they just arrived 6 months ago, or if they have for some reason been here the whole time in possibly Mexico, just in their pods, longer than anyone else. We don't know yet. Clyde also mentions Ophiuchus. He says something like, Ophiuchus will rise again. And I had thought that maybe Ophiuchus is Jones's like alien name, of like he will become ruler again. But I thought of another possibility, which is that he's referring to the Ophiuchus constellation. And if that's the case, I'm willing to set aside that somehow their planet came up with the same name for the constellation that Earth people have come up with for that constellation. I'll set that aside. If it could be that like when the constellation is at like a certain point in the sky, something will happen. Of like mentioning that in like a timing sense. Like when Ophiuchus rises in the sky, whatever.
Right.
That's also a possibility. It could be both. Maybe Jones is named after the constellation. I don't know. Maybe. Where is Rosa? I assume she's at art school, but no one has even mentioned her. And I kind of want, I love that we've seen Arturo in both episodes, but if he could mention like where his other daughter is, just for clarification. We haven't seen her at all.
I think we're assuming.
I think she's at art school, but like I'm like definitely like positive, but someone could mention her. Someone could be like, finishing up a phone call with her, and
so happy.
Right. I just want someone to mention her. I'm also wondering how long it will take them to rescue Alex, because I don't want it to be like this 3-episode long thing where like they don't even realize he's gone for a while. I don't know if like they'll rescue him this episode, but I would want them to like at least figure out he's gone and that he's in danger and like save him like beginning of next episode. I just don't want it to be drawn out. The last point, I think, is a curious little thing that I think will become relevant. So, Anatsa says that she has as a reporter, that she has a FBI contact who has told her that Cameron has either not reported in to her like supervising officer or whatever, it's agent, or has like left stuff out of the report, which how would they know that? Graham Greene also mentions that he has a government contact who is the person who gave him that sigil that is apparently a real alien sigil that he put on his newspaper ad. I'm thinking Graham's government contact and Anatsa's FBI contact are the same person. Because if it was just one of them mentioning it, like I would, maybe someone is lying to Graham Greene, but I believe that Anatsa, as an intrepid journalist, I believe that she would have a FBI contact. But for them both to mention that they have government contacts who seem to know more than maybe they should about what might be happening in Roswell, I think will come up again and be relevant. So either it's an actual FBI agent, which would be dangerous because then you have an actual FBI agent who seems to know more than they should, or it's someone pretending and has like fooled both of them, which it would be harder to fool Anatsa, but it's possible. It's possible that it's an alien giving them this information, because how else would they know about the sigil? But why would an alien give that information? Unless, maybe, it's someone who would want to, like, leverage, because if it turns out that there are aliens from the home planet who want to return our aliens back to the home planet, they might be like, you either come with us or we completely expose you. Using that threat. Or, like, it's possible that it's Teska, but the other two seem to not know about it, which is not really, like, she seems to be, like, the leader, possibly, kind of separate from them. So it's possible that she's doing that and didn't tell them for whatever reason, I don't know. Or it's another alien, but where did they come from? I don't know. But I think the government contact will come up again.
Sounds very plausible.
Yeah. Because like I said, if it was just either one of them mentioning it, I would have just like, oh yeah, I believe a reporter has a government contact, or I believe someone told Graham Greene that they were in the government and like could have told him anything. But that they both mentioned it, suspicious.
Yeah.
All right, ready for episode 3. It also makes me curious about what exactly makes a triad a triad. Because they don't seem
like
super
a
close.
Triad.
No.
I noticed that right away.
Yeah, so I'm curious about that designation.
8 ball, corner pocket.
Your husband is underground. Oh, Michael.
Huh. That's the old Michael. Drinking feelings, not embracing them.
How much research could they possibly have done about the town they were going to and not know that the wild pony is like where they hang out?
The answer is none.
0. He should be able to feel that she's an alien, right? I think so. Let's find out.
Let's find out. Obviously not from across the room yet.
I mean, she doesn't feel them, obviously. Unless she did this on purpose.
You know, I've always found talking to be a lot more helpful than drinking.
Oh, have you? He's so grown up.
Can't really beat the real thing, right?
You can when everyone you know is terrible.
Ha ha ha.
Not close to her triad.
Kevin Bacon.
Is that like a breakfast food or something?
on, Michael.
Sorry.
You're a smart boy. What? Oh.
What?
It had that symbol in the condensation of the glass.
What symbol?
The
I know he's looking at something, but what's
the three things. The Max's tattoo, the girl's
Oh, really?
tattoo, yes.
How did
It
go?
forms, it follows them, it just sort of appears.
Oh.
Okay,
Run!
so, meaning,
After her.
Michael, correct that you've caught on now? What just happened?
I figured out who owns that stolen safety deposit box in Las Cruces.
Tell me it's Jones.
It was my grandma's?
It was Patricia's. Can you trigger a vision and figure out what was stolen?
Yeah, I could try.
That means Jones was not involved.
In those boxes. In those bank
Right.
heists. But we thought he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that he put things.
There. But by the time Patricia would have been old enough to open a safety deposit box, Jones was already in the pod. But Patricia interacted with Nora when she was in Caulfield. But could they have created this stuff in those, that shiny stuff in those bottles that they had?
And then we can finally get this dark triad behind bars.
We're gonna lock him up.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Maybe I can go undercover. I can become her friend.
Absolutely not. No offense, Garen, but this isn't a game. You have no experience, and I'm not letting these two roam around Roswell while you play 21 Jump Street.
Street.
I think that is underestimating Michael a little. I mean, 3 years ago, Michael, I would understand. But Michael today...
What are you doing here? About the place out?
She is just one step ahead, isn't she? What tipped her off to that location?
Gosh, we would love to stay, but Kira and I were just headed to the VIP section, so it's really good to see you.
So are we. Should we double date? So, what are you all...
He's
seeing
trying
as
so
a
hard.
environment? We found something. Not of this planet. Something that possessed unique healing properties. Healing properties. Is there someone personal you needed help? Our daughter is in desperate need of help.
I do like her, but I don't know if we can trust her. And it seems like she has good motivations, but
her child.
right. But would it end there for her? If she was able to help her daughter, would she stop there? Is she trying to trigger a vision?
Show me what Patricia hid.
I love going again.
You're blowing
Come
it,
on.
Valenti. You're supposed to keep it on her ass to see her painting sometime. But there's a little bit of buzz right now because the case that I'm working on is one of the banks that got robbed.
Ah.
Really?
Oh no.
I'm doing a story on that.
When you were telling me from Jones, something happened. My abilities changed. It's like they've multiplied.
What?
How much?
I don't know.
Is that why he maybe hasn't been using them because he's afraid of them? Because we had been thinking that maybe he had less power,
Yeah.
but he's saying he has more.
And he doesn't know how to control it.
I mean,
Well, why couldn't he hold the truck then? Unless he purposely put it down. Which, why would he do that? So, maybe that's just, I found a plot hole. But can someone maybe think to call Alex to check in on that boy, please?
It looks doctored, which means there's a loophole.
Oh my god, okay, you're gonna get
See
fired.
the wind blowing around? But then look at the balloons. Nothing.
You're right. There's no wind. That is definitely doctored.
No, but check out the light. You can't fake shadows like that. I actually think it's legit. Wait, roll that back. Is that Max?
Excuse me? Excuse me? Excuse me. No, I'm not prepared to say anything yet. I'm not prepared. Not panicking. Not at all. Why would I? Whoa!
Remember, 2 minutes until the alien inhibitor takes full effect.
Right. You're a stall.
Look at you! Is it Tesca?
What the hell are you doing here?
I'm making a withdrawal.
Okay.
I'm saving you. Come on.
Is this part of... Does Max know about this part of the plan?
See you at the junkyard.
Now let's go.
Okay. So it's working.
My mind's being her, Kyle, to keep her from the troops. After I told her that I loved her, and now every time she looks at me, all I can think is, what if I'm a terrible monster? What if I'm Noah?
No,
You know,
come
'cause in this case,
on.
then
No.
she should run as fast as she can.
No, that's not true. Okay, you are not Noah. We both know that.
You're literally hard on yourself without being hard on yourself.
Okay, all right. I don't walk around knocking your hobbies.
He likes her.
If I still had my visions,
Maria, come on.
They're
A piece of
cute.
that, okay?
Oh, not Eduardo! Why you gotta be all creepy like that?
I'm so sorry. I didn't see you.
Man, you don't deserve this. But maybe he'll be with Alex? They can help each other? Oh no. Oh no! Is she gonna she's gonna make him do something to sabotage whatever work they're on, and he's gonna be like an unwitting, accomplice to her? No! Eduardo.
She noticed that he is important.
Yeah, how does she know who he is?
Well, because
Well,
Jones
the
told
Bonnie had no
her-
idea who Michael was, but apparently Tesca knows enough to know who Eduardo is. Because I don't think that was random.
How'd you know we were gonna hit that bank?
I didn't. I just knew Max would be there.
So she also now knows that he is an alien because he busted through the wall. So who does she think that he is? And what is she gonna do if she finds out that he's Jones's son?
Again, when?
Oh, her mom?
I'll be right there. My mom has gone missing again.
I feel like it's suspicious. I mean, I know it's happened before, but...
Is it Kyle? Is something going on there? I'm sorry,
Interesting
between me and
observation.
Kyle? Anatsa, we're old friends. That's not true. It is.
Is she gonna break up with her?
Ever since I told you I love you, things have been different. I'm tired of feeling like the side chick in my own relationship. Well, if that's making you feel that bad, then maybe a little distance would be good for us to get some clarity. Wait, I think it's best I get a cab.
Is this how it ends?
I'll see Shivani tomorrow, but right now, I'm going to enjoy tonight.
I don't think Alex is enjoying tonight. Can someone please realize he's not okay? I mean, they're very sweet, though. Look how sweet they are.
We've got a problem. Jones is gone.
Damn it! Gah! No! No! Gah! It was Eduardo! It was Eduardo!
In the Dark is all new and coming up next.
Wow, they're moving fast.
As they do. I wish we would have had something with Alex. Wait a minute. If Tesca mind warped Eduardo to steal Jones's body, that means she knows Eduardo had Jones's body. How would she know that? Assuming that that is what happened. But honestly, I think that's most likely.
Well, it wasn't just his body. They had to have brought him back to be part of the bank
But that would have happened.
the first time.
So either he's been gone longer than Kyle has just now realized, or they took him, put him back, and took him again.
Yeah.
Unless this is not the first time she's mind warped Eduardo.
I'm thinking that.
Because the footage from the bank
I'm thinking that
is from
Jones has
the
been gone
first
longer
robbery.
than they think.
Well, we saw Jones's body at Deep Sky, and that was because the first robbery is the one with the lamp base. And the second one is the one with the car chase.
Yeah, because there was money all over.
And the video that Kira showed was there was money blowing around, so maybe that was from the second
also
one.
The base of the lamp
But
that
hold on.
was taken. Whatever was in the base of the lamp.
I think the lamp was the first one, because that's the one where Cameron shows up. And there was something in the base of the lamp. Then the second one is when we see Bonnie and Clyde for the first time, where they are walking out of the bank when Max and Cameron see them, and then they have the car chase.
Video is she showing that? Is she
Well,
showing...
the video had money flowing around,
right,
which suggests the second one. But if that's the case, that means that Bonnie and Clyde, with presumably, left Jones in the bank when they walked out, or he had left before they did. But we saw Jones's body in Deep Sky.
Yeah. But he's not there now.
But I think that was at the end of the episode, the first episode.
And maybe the...
So which
the
means
bank robberies
that they would have
happened-
taken him out, put him back, and then taken him again. Are they maybe not... He's not necessarily alive, but they can, reanimate him for a short period of time? But, again, that means... What does that mean? That they know... That means they know he's dead? But if they knew he was dead, why would Clyde assume that Max was Jones when he saw him at the drive-in for the Graham Greene thing? Assuming that we're making the correct assumptions that it was Jones on the tape. Which, that seems to be what happened. But I also think that, he was dead on the table when Kyle was about to autopsy him. Okay, this would be, unless Eduardo messed with it, it would be on the Deep Sky's, security footage. But I assume that he also, if he could have snuck out a whole full-grown man body, they could have messed with the security tapes. So I don't think that Jones is alive. But okay, if they can, temporarily reanimate him, what did they need him to do while they were robbing the bank?
Clyde thinking that Max was Jones for a short period of time.
Right. If he just worked a bank heist with him.
Right. So it wasn't the second one, but still.
Well, I mean, but even if it was, Tesca, if I'm saying her name right, if she's the one controlling Eduardo, she could be lying to the other two and saying Jones is alive when really he's not alive. She can just
manipulate.
But
it doesn't make sense, though.
She's clearly not working closely with the other two. I assume they have barely even communicate. I somehow was not expecting. I mean, are Isabel and Anatsa done? Or is this we'll see how we feel in a few days?
I think.
Because I feel
Anatsa is saying, I don't want to be hurt like this.
And I think that she is someone who would be willing to step away from the way that she's being treated. She can tell that something is not right.
Right. and she would.
And I think she would step away from that
right away. She would,
and she did.
Yeah,
and picked up on something with Kyle. That's interesting, though. I had not considered that she chooses to step away, like not even knowing about the alien stuff.
yeah. Well,
It
for
makes
her,
sense, but like
she's
Isabel
not-
could
she's
have.
not stepping away from the story. She's stepping.
Oh, no,
away
no,
from
no.
her. Yeah.
So that's still an issue, maybe.
Yeah.
Because there's really nothing that would make her drop this. Like, she has more of a story now, and specifically something to do with Max, or what she thinks, who she thinks is Max. Why would the sheriff be involved in a bank robbery? Which if it's the second robbery, I mean, he responded to both robberies. Like, he investigated both robberies. So if she thinks the sheriff is somehow, for some reason, involved in bank robberies, that's obviously a huge story. Which means we're likely not done with Hinatsa, and that even if the relationship is done, which I feel like Isabel could have, like, obviously high emotions in the moment, but she could have responded differently. I feel like she chose to respond of, well, then let's take a step back, rather than, no, I'm going to tell you everything, which would also be a very hard decision to make, but... And I think I was right that the guilt was really getting to her. I was not expecting her to feel like, Noah, that was, oh my goodness, poor Isabel. But I understand why she would feel that way. But yeah, I was not expecting it to happen like that. So again, kudos to the show for surprising me. I don't really see them, like, getting back together, though. Like, even if they can, like, split more amicably, like, I'm sure they'll talk. Well, they kind of have to, because, like, we assume she's not dropping the story. I am disappointed that Alex was not. And I get, like, yes, it's still just the next day. So I'm hoping that quickly that changes. I think Dallas definitely likes Maria. I think they like each other, but I don't think Maria is necessarily... Well, she's still with Greg, right?
Yeah.
Where's my Gregory Maines?
He hasn't been...
Because I think they're still... I mean, maybe they're, like, casually long distance. I don't know. Like, he was, like, mentioned once, and that's, like... I'm proud of Michael. I think Michael has grown so much in the course of the series. Okay, so what do we think is going to happen with Bonnie? Because she's clearly not... She's not who you would assume a Jones loyalist would be. From what we can tell.
I don't understand. I was first going to say she was chosen to be part of the three. But
it seems like triads are just arbitrary.
I was going to say,
you know,
wait a second.
For them.
Triads close? Aren't the
which
triads
I guess
linked?
Like,
so
why do they feel that do their parents know each other? Because that's sort of how, because Nora and Louise and Theo knew each other, and then their kids then are a triad, which, I mean, who decides who is a triad? Like, that's
how do triads get
how much is this an actual thing, or is it just like the three of us have been assigned this mission, and maybe we don't even really know each other, but we're supposed to work together? Like, Bonnie, Clyde, and Tessica all seem so different from each other. Like, they have different motivations. They have different...
I mean, they have a plan.
Well, yeah, but they're all... Like, Clyde is for the plan. He just is obviously not super involved in the planning or even execution of the plan, because Tessica is clearly the ringleader here, and they admit that. And then Bonnie just seems like she's, like, tagging along for which again might end up being to our team's benefit, I'm curious on how Sherry Appleby will eventually show up. I'm not sure which episode she's in, or if it's 1 or 2 episodes. Like, so she's been in Mexico researching whatever she was researching to help their daughter. So how does she show up? I mean,
Well,
presuming
she's
she shows up
researching
in Mexico.
the things
I
that-
mean, in New Mexico.
The pods. The
The
whatever she's
pods that
researching.
the other triad might have come out of in Mexico.
Some type of either the pods
If she found
themselves
those?
or some trail that they kind of left.
Well, we really have no idea what she's.
What she's researching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that we see
And
her
she said
in
something
Roswell,
about
but it's
her
possible that
partner,
she's
though,
just
said
not.
She's researching something that she found that is helping their
That
daughter.
they somehow know it has healing properties. So how did they?
Yes.
They must have already done a good amount of testing.
They put the daughter in a pod. Healing property.
Well, the pod would hold her in stasis, so she wouldn't get worse.
Right.
I mean, that would
Just
be.
kind of an
That's an idea. So where is the daughter? Is
I
she
don't know,
just in
and I
Roswell
don't-
somewhere, in a hotel room somewhere?
I know. I'm thinking she's
Well, unless she's in a pod in Mexico.
Yeah.
So, problem though is that now everyone, once they find out, is going to be immediately freaked out about Jones, which might distract them from. Also, they should be immediately freaked out about Alex. I don't want this to be like a long drawn out thing. But if nothing progresses with Alex next episode, they've taken too long. And again, I understand Tyler Blackburn is not in every episode. I accept that.
Right, but some inkling.
But you
that
gotta
he
talk about
feels
Alex.
that
Well,
feeling
I have been thinking
of
that,
being
he'll
separated.
call Alex just to be like, hey, just wanted to say goodnight, or like because
But it's
I
gotta be
think
stronger than that, I think.
that he would feel that something is wrong. He
Yeah.
could. They have a close enough bond for that, even
But
though
once
there's not
he
like a
gets it in his
handprint
mind,
bond.
to get
But I'm saying, like, if he calls Alex and he doesn't answer, and he
Right.
calls again the next morning, he doesn't answer. He calls
Mhm.
again, he doesn't answer.
he'll be concentrating on it and will come up with some type of connection that he feels is
That maybe he could
separate.
try, like, reaching out, trying to feel like, is
Right.
Alex okay? Does it feel like he's in danger?
Yeah, because
might
of
be
the-
able to
because
do
of the
that.
necklace thing.
The necklace might help with that.
Or that he was an important person to capture, not just
Well,
like
presuming that they kidnapped Alex specifically rather than a human.
right.
We're not sure. I mean, it's possible that they know that Alex asked someone very closely connected to one of our aliens. Like, are they trying to... I would maybe presume that because he was not mentioned in this episode, that they're not going to use him, like, as bait to get the aliens to come to them. Like, hey, we've got, your boyfriend, come and get him. As to, like, lure them. But
if they knew he was,
But there was, like, Michael didn't get, like, a phone call or a note or anything, like, a ransom note.
well, no, they don't need to yet.
Well, it's only been a day.
It's only been,
But this is the second time Alex has been kidnapped. 2 times. And I guess I have some comfort in knowing that part of his military training was probably how to deal with being kidnapped.
so he's okay.
So there's
He's
that.
mentally okay. He's mentally okay.
But still, he's presumably still underground. Knowing that everyone is not going to be looking for him for several days, but should know that if Michael doesn't hear from, like, I would presume that they would call each other. Like, it's not,
It's a normal thing.
Yeah.
It would be a normal thing. Yes.
especially for a couple who has just moved in together. You're going to call. Even if the next episode takes place in, like, all of day 2, that means that Michael has not talked to Alex in 2 days when he's been out of town. And, like, I don't think that they would just not talk to each other for 2 days when he is out of town. So there's the Jones emergency. there's still the Alex emergency. There's whatever the fallout from Isabella and Anatsa's presumable breakup and her presuming that Max is maybe involved in these robberies. That's still going on. We're getting a little bit stressful. But good! This is still good.
Good things to talk about.
I like it. So, episode 4 is next.